Hey, beautiful people. Happy Friday and Happy New Year's. I hope that all of you had a safe and wonderful New Year's Eve that led into New Year's Day. I hope that everybody is, hi Karen, hi Tyson. I hope that everybody is safe, their families are safe, and that everybody's healthy and all that good stuff into the new year. Tonight is going to be really fun. I thought I'd come at it a little bit different. I know that there are different ways to say things and do things. I know lectures can sometimes get old because they just feel like you're back in school again, right? So tonight I'm going to do a little storytelling and I got a little creative. So thank you for coming. And we'll first start out like I always do. Hey Walter, which is some of my quotes that I like from some of the books that I read. So while people are starting to get on, I'll go ahead and I'll do that. In the meantime, I'm glad to see that some of my, let's just say, fantastic warriors of friendship and following are here. So thank you for being so consistent and so loyal. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Walter. Here we go. The things that are really for thee gravitate to thee. Ralph Waldo Emerson. I know that's right. You can't force things to come. What's going to come will come, right? What you are seeking is seeking you. You just have to be in the position to get it. You have to be where you should be and walking forward. Hi. Hey, Sherry. All right. People often fail on the verge of success by giving as much care to the end as the beginning. There will be few failures. Lao Tzu. If you achieve success, you will get applause. And if you get applause, you will hear it. My advice to you concerning applause is this. Enjoy it, but never quite believe it. And that's one of the other things about understanding the reality. A lot of people are like, oh, they want me. And a lot of times, no, that's what they want what you can do for them. Like companies, you know, some people, you hear them all the time, like, my company I work for wouldn't know what to do if I was gone. It's not true. They like what you do for them. And so you better stay true to your family. I'm not telling you all companies are bad. I'm just saying a lot of times we get bamboozled thinking that people actually care for us and not really what it is that we're doing for them. So be careful with that one. Tonight, what I want to talk about is taming and reclaiming our dragons. And this is going to be kind of interesting. And I will prove to you how we're all born with one and how we get lost in all of our powers. But first, on the inboxes, I've been getting a lot of messages that have like an envelope attached to it. I don't open it because I've been around when Facebook has had some of its stuff going around. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Steve. Hey, Bobby. I'm not sure what that is. So if anybody could put down in the comments what that is so I can look at that later, and because I don't want to open them. So if you've sent me something with an envelope and it's not something scary, I'm sorry I didn't open it. But I remember about a year or so ago, there was this virus going around the emails or inboxes, and it was like, it looked like an envelope. Hi, Craig. So if you have the answers to that, if you could just let me know, because I am seeking advice on that, because I don't want to just open it and it be like a virus or something. The other thing is, I said Happy New Year's. The other thing is, just start. Whatever it is that you told yourself you were going to do today. Maybe you said, oh, today is going to be the first day of the squat challenge or the push-up challenge or I'm not going to eat sugar today. Whatever your thing was, regardless of how you feel, remember to just do it. And if you didn't start today, start right now. Here's another opportunity right now. And then in 5 minutes, there's another right now. And then in 6 minutes, there's another right now. So it's not a time thing as much as a choice thing. Remember that. Choose you, always. Hi, Vince. And the other thing is, I hope all of you had started this year with a vision board. I've talked about this a lot of times. Hi, Tracy. And I hope that you guys have got a vision board for yourself. I meant to bring mine. I say that every recording. But I meant to, it's my screensaver. Can't you see my screensaver? And I will say that we don't start with a vision. And so if you're not going to start with a vision of a life that you want, you're going to continue with the life that you have. You might as well just push fast forward on your life from yesterday and fast forward all the way through 2021. Because if you're waiting for things to be dropped in your lap and just happen, or, you know, you've been a good this or that and you expect things, remember, no attachment to outcome, no attachment to expectations, and there's really nothing to be mad at. There's really nothing to be sad at. You just continue to live. So I highly encourage that you do have a vision board. You're not too big for that. Just because you're an adult, it doesn't mean, oh, hi, Angela. Hi, Freddie. It doesn't mean that you don't have a vision board. It's like, well, what are you doing then? You're just going to keep repeating what you said you don't already like. So let's get that vision going. Where do you want to be? What do you want to see? Where do you want to go? How do you want to? Don't just give me these boring New Year's resolutions, you know, like I have people, they'll say, what should I put on my board? Like, you know, I want weight loss. Okay, well, what does weight loss feel like? It feels like making the right food choices, making a commitment to myself, walking every day. So do those things. Picture yourself doing those things. Picture yourself in the place and in the space that you want to be in. You have to see bigger than where you're at. Otherwise, you'll keep repeating where you're at. Okay, enough on that. Hi, Leonard. And so here we go. I did want to talk about dragons. So again, I got creative. Today. Hey. So I will tell you really quick about my New Year's. I was asleep and I woke up just before New Year's and I started cleaning. So I guess I had a thing yesterday about purging and cleaning, but I mean, I can't be mad at that. Started in a cleaner kitchen that I went to sleep in and started, you know, vacuumed and whatever I had to do. So if you ever get to a place, and we'll go into why this is so important about taming your dragon, clean. It is the most effective and beneficial thing to help calm your butt down and still get things done that you will enjoy and appreciate that you did. You're like, wow, how can I can't even be mad no more. That kitchen looks great. I can't even be mad no more. Wow, like I really shined those rims, you know. So clean. It'll take away some of that. Oh, good for you, Angela. And I wish I would have brought my example of my vision board, but I didn't. So here we go. We are going to talk about, you'll see a lot of black lines on these papers, but it's because I didn't want to get in trouble with copyrights or online this or online that. So here is how we start. We start like baby dragons, right? Just like this, optimistic, curious, ready to rule the world, inspired. Here's me. That's my dragon. I'm convinced. We start that way, right? We start very easy. We start very open. We start very excited. We start we don't even realize the magic that we have. We don't even care the magic that we have. It doesn't even matter. We're just excited with life as a whole. We're just like, think about it. How many times does a baby fall down? And the majority of the time, unless you go, it never even cries. If anything, sometimes it chuckles at itself and gets back up. That's the same with the baby dragon. It may burn its tail on accident, not knowing what it's doing with all of its power, but it didn't feel like it wasn't supposed to do it. It just brushed it off. It just dealt with that hard thing or that whatever it was. It didn't understand what it did to itself. So then we go from this phase, which is the happy little optimistic dragon. And then we get to this guy who's conflicted, confused, sad. He's feeling lost and definitely has a loss of self-worth, right? He went from this starry-eyed little baby dragon to seeing differences, comparing himself to others. He realized he's not the next dragon. His wings are shorter. His head is smaller. His tail is bumpier. And then you start comparing, and then you start competing, and then you start slowly but surely losing yourself. And so you go around and you feel lost. When the truth is you were never lost. It's just you're starting to lose a little bit of that self-worth. And when you lose self-worth, you start to lose magic about yourself. You start to doubt yourself. You start to feel out of your way. You feel disconnected from the very thing that you are, which is magical. And so you separate from your magic as a dragon. Now, so what happens with that dragon when he starts to separate himself? He does what we call being grown. You know, the young adult who's kind of like, he's just that dragon. How many of you said that's not a dragon? Is anybody paying attention? I did that by no mistake, because what happens is we forget who we are. And so then we start acting into these emotions and we start acting into these things that aren't really us to begin with. So now not only are we losing our self-worth, but we can't figure out to hold on to this person that we're not in the first place. So what do? We go find people that can validate what we're feeling. So if you're mad at yourself and you're upset with yourself and you have a loss of ego or you have too much ego or you're feeling self-pity or whatever it is, you're going to go find a crowd to match that feeling. And then you start to become thinking that you're a dragon and an alligator or the crocodile, whichever one. And you're not. You're still the magic dragon, but you're now trying to identify with these lower vibration things that aren't you in the first place. So no wonder you're fighting with yourself. No wonder you're making decisions that aren't going to actually benefit you in the long run. It's because you're not even identifying with yourself anymore. So you go and you dig into the flesh and you get into ego. And Wayne Dyer said it best to me. He said, ego is edging God out. And when you do that, well then what do you have? You have your flesh. All that is left is your flesh. And I don't know anybody that can say, when my flesh led me, boy, I was always right. I don't think I've ever heard that, but I have heard when my mind or my heart or my spirit or God led me, it always came out okay. I have never heard somebody say, man, when my ego got up and got to rearing and I was living in my flesh, I was on game. I was on top. No. I've heard people say it hurt me. I hurt other people. I didn't know why I made the decisions that I did. I don't know why I went down the alleys that I went down, but they cost me. They either cost me somebody else getting involved, maybe having a unwanted child, not saying that, let's just say it happens, or an unplanned child. Maybe with somebody that you knew you weren't going to make it with, but you let your ego and your flesh get in the way of your decisions because you forgot who you were. Because if you really believe the magic in you, in that little dragon, how it started, you wouldn't go be making decisions that sting you for years and years and years. So be careful when you get here. Now, here's the thing. When you start doing this and you realize that you're not being you, two things happen. You either go in deeper into this person that you're not, and you it's like you almost can't get out. You dig yourself into this hole or to this box, and it becomes lonely in there. It lasts for so long. As long as you're in the situation that makes you happy, you're fine. But the moments that you're alone, your mind gets to going crazy. You feel like you have nothing to live for. You feel like life is just a setup, and you start feeling this way. And so if you, on the other hand, decide to say, you know what, I am ready to turn in and turn back into that dragon, because I know that there's that magical dragon that's still inside of me, but I have to choose it. I have to choose to go back to it, because it's never left you. But what's happened is through getting caught up in our own emotions and through our own spiel and finding reinforcing factors. And if there's something I can leave with you that you need to always realize, you can find anything to support the idea that you have, wrong or right. Now, if you're sitting there going, if you're looking for somebody who's mad at the world because a job did them wrong and laid them off, you're going to find a group of people for that. If you're trying to find people who are mad at their exes because they left them for some other woman or some other man, you're going to find people who are going to clap you up on your anger, who are going to clap you up for you feeling the way you feel. But when you go and you meet people who say, look, no matter what has happened to you, your magic to sustain, your magic to get through this, your magic it's in you. And so don't give the power to the things and the people around you. Turn back into that dragon. Turn back into where that power is. Go back into the spirit. Go back to where things really matter and where results really flow from. And so this is what happens, is when you realize that you are most beautiful and capable dragon in the universe, because there's only one you, so you should have never compared in the first place. But once you realize that, hey, this starts to happen. This very connection right here starts to happen. You realize you're beautiful. You return to yourself. You return to the truth. You begin to have self-love. You begin to find understanding. You start to become thankful for your experiences instead of fault-finding in your experiences. Your walls start to come down. So here's what happens. You say, I'm up for the challenge. I'm up for the journey of continuing to better myself and to harness who I am within, shortcomings or whatever it is, because we're all going to come with our own strengths and weaknesses. And that's what makes this such a beautiful situation, is that there's enough in this entire world to make everything we need go around. We all have different strengths and we all have different areas that we need to train. And so while you're returning to yourself, you're going to have to continue to learn, and there's going to be bumps and bruises. What happens is the first little time we start to use our wings again and we start hitting walls or we zap ourselves or whatever it is with our tail, you want to go back again to that alligator who you never were in the first place. Don't return back to him. Don't go there. You weren't an alligator or a crocodile in the first place. You weren't supposed to be that person. You just got callous. You got hard. You lost your way. You started hanging out with people who started, supporting those mal-thinking situations, or that they were like, no, you're right for your anger, and you're right for this, you're right for that, and you start getting with this crowd that's supporting you for all the wrong reasons, and so now you're confused. So I'm telling you, this year, understand that what you don't know is gonna cause some unease at times. It's gonna cause you to be uncomfortable. But have you ever learned anything any other way? Think about it. When you first started driving a car, unless I'm mistaken, there may have been some of you that came right out the womb and you already had your driver's license. But in the event that you came from the world I came from, I had to learn how to drive. And let me tell you what I did. I bought my first car, and it was a stick shift. And so when I finished paying the guy off, because I came from a time when people would have cars for sale outside their house, and then they would, you know, tell you you can pay them so much and then pay them weekly. And you could actually trust people like that then. And they were generally people who wanted to help kids like myself who didn't have a whole lot going on. And they wanted to be that person. So I finally remember the last payment I paid that car off, and I was so happy. And the guy goes, so you know how to drive stick, right? And I said, nope, but I know that I want to drive that car home. And that's just how it has to be. And that drive home, let me tell you, I probably gave myself miniature concussions all along the way. I was a stick shift. I probably gave myself a little bit of whiplash, and I was probably sweating like I don't know what. But you know what? I got that car home. So yes, being special is hard for somebody who's never felt special before. Being confident might be hard for somebody who's been told not to be confident, or that you're ugly, or that you're unworthy, or that you're whatever it is. It might be hard to drive that car of confidence at first. It might be hard for you to see to some people you're worthy when you spent all this time with somebody who showed you reasons why you weren't. It may be hard to find your value when your job has never even looked at you and doesn't even know your name. It might be hard for you to take that leap to go and be your own boss, or to be your own CEO, or to be your own whatever it is. I understand. But that doesn't take away from the fact that we started from this very part. We started with the magic. It's the returning to it that's the hard part. It's the owning that dragon that we were born into and learning how to drive it. Learning how to take it to places where it might get dark. It might get lonely. But there's going to be lessons in life that are only for you. Those lessons are just for you. You can't have your husband or your friend or your study buddy or your anybody learn to drive your dragon. That's yours. That's yours. Let's think about it. What is training good for? Let's see. What do we train? We train our dog. We train our employees. We train our kids. You're probably training your spouse. No, I'm just kidding. But why? Why is training so important? Why? I mean, if you know it all already, and since you already know the future and you know everything because of your past experience have told you something, I mean, why do the training then? It's because we know that training is essential. And because we realize that anything without training is not going to give us the results that we're trying to get. Train your dragon. Learn to drive that thing. Learn to fly. Learn to fall. Learn to fail. Again, like I said yesterday, failing is only finding another intentional lane. It's only finding another intentional lesson. It's finding. And remember, when you're trying and you're able to find, that's actually a compliment to you, because that means that you got off your butt and you did what you needed to do and you tried it, it didn't work, so you moved on, you went to the right, you went to the left, but you didn't change the goal. You didn't change what you wanted at the end. You just had to sidestep a little here, sidestep a little there. But I'm telling you, you have everything you need. But you have to do the training. You have to train your dragon. You truly do. So, and I didn't mean nothing by training your spouses, but I always have heard people, you know, I've heard women say, well, I finally got him trained. Why would I get rid of him now? It's just, it was a funny thing. I have no clue. I don't know how that works, but it was just a joke. You guys are awesome. Hi, Matt. Hi, Keith. Hey, Robin. Hey, Janella. If I haven't said hi to you guys tonight, you're pretty magical, and thank you for being here, and thank you for participating, and I hope that I have made you laugh to some degree tonight, or smile, or remember how wonderful that you truly are, because that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. You know, if we live in a earth with people who are upset dragons, who are busy trying to compete through their life instead of create and inspire and ignite, because we've already been so trained so far off track. It's hard to get back on track with belief of how valuable we really are, because we've been told we're only marked by our achievements, or by our schooling, or by our house, or by our whatever it is. I mean, think about it. How many times has anybody ever asked you, how are you? No, it's, what are you up to now? Where are you working at? Oh, is that your new car? Is that your house? Where are you living now? There's no, you know, how's your dragon doing? Are you flying right? Are you learning new tricks? Are you flipping around? But it's always a judgment response, right? Like, so we can set a marker on how somebody's doing. I know very many stories of millionaires and people that everybody looks up today, that they clap up because they're celebrities and this and that have spent nights sleeping in their car. But that's not the part they clap up. They clap up the part that they seen them on the screen or they see whatever, not me. I say, hey, you made that, you trained that dragon, now let's see what kind of tricks you can make it do. Because if you can sustain those dark times with yourself, boy, 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 you can certainly go and see some things about yourself you had never dreamed of. But first, you've got to understand how wonderful you are from the get-go, how much you have everything that you need. And so, yeah, I get it. It's tough for people who've never really felt real love. It's tough for people who have just been two reunited or united trauma bonding dragons who just together decided that, hey, we're both, you know, mad and hurt and we have a lot to be hurt about together. And it would be a great place if we just understood that some of the journey is going to be a journey for ourselves alone. And that doesn't mean you're going to be alone forever, but that does mean that there's going to be lessons in your life that are built solely for you because of the gift that you're here to bring. The things that your dragon is here to do. You're going to have to go through a training course that's built just for you, and you need to understand that. And once you're okay with that, you'll understand when you're in a valley, that doesn't mean you're not going to see a peak again. That doesn't mean because your wings don't work right now that your tail isn't wonderful. It doesn't mean that you can't blow fire right now, that you're never going to fly. That doesn't mean any of that. But you have to understand that while you're in that valley, there's something for you to pick up while you're down there. So when you get back to the next peak, you can go higher. But what happens is a lot of times we get down into those valleys and we're like, man, this again. So we do the same reaction, which creates the same emotion, which gives us the same outcome of what we've been dealing with. You have to change the tune. You have to accept and appreciate the lessons in your life so that you can get better from them and not bitter from them. You have to know the difference, and you have to want it. You have to want to say, okay, I'm up for it. How many of you played a sport? In football practice, what did you tell the guys? I want to play football, but don't hit me. I want to play basketball, but let me make my shot. I want to play softball, but if I don't make a home run, get the ball and throw it out there for me. No, that's not how it works. You earn learning how to hit the ball and make a home run. You learned how to be going up against that person who is trying to defend your shot. You learned how to say, you know what, I'm going to take this tackle or make this tackle or whatever. You went ahead and you trained that dragon. We are no different from that same situation, from the same experience. Just because your, I don't like to say age, but just because your energy of influence has gotten, okay, age, it's going to be the easiest to explain. Just because you've gotten older in the looks of numbers, that doesn't mean you've gotten too good to remember how you learned your best lessons. And they were through trying them. They were through taking what you got and making yourself better with them. You're no different. Things haven't changed. It's just we get more judgmental and we get less inspired to do things because big things get scarier because we keep remaining the same. So take your dragon, fly your dragon, learn new tricks. And remember, just because you go into those little peaks doesn't mean you have to stay. And it doesn't mean that you're alone just because you're learning a lesson. That means, hey, guess what? I get to get a one-on-one lesson with life. It's going to teach me something to make my dragon fly better. Keep taking it that way. There are going to be moments that are just for you, believe it or not. So there you go. That's my lesson on dragons. Hi, Mr. Finesse. Hey, Danny. Hey, Robin. Hey, Rob. God bless you. I hope that you're having a fabulous day. I did make black eyed peas because my grandmother rest her wings on me all the time. She that was her thing. Was like you had to eat it every first day of the new year. You had to do that, and so I did go ahead and cook me a pot of those for me into the new year. God bless you guys. I hope that you have taken the time to remember how wonderful you are today. Seriously, I hope that before the day ends, you look in the mirror and say, yo, I'm blessed to be here. There's something great in me. And I hope that you remind yourself of that daily. Remember to tell yourself at least 2 times a day, I can, I will, and I am so worth it. God bless you guys, and may you relearn how to fly your dragon.